This is Fear on Shelf, The Dep by Swollen Bum and Lee Garbage. This is a great mini-series, but in a true Marvel style, they decided to confuse potential consumers by not calling it what it should be called, which is The Defenders. This is a 4-issue Defenders series by then hot talent Swollen Bum. He was very much the Donovan Cates of his day. He was like on every book. He was writing Captain America, he was writing Wolfman, he was writing Venom, and I never saw any remarkable talent in his writing. He was at best he was average. The truth is, Marvel, they have this tendency to try and insist that certain writers are a big deal with huge fan bases and great success whenever the writers in question are naive enough to sign on for exclusive contracts. There's been like a long string of writers over the last few years. I think Swollen Bum, he might have been the first of them, where it's just like people that they insist are superstars and they give an obscene amount of work to, but their claims don't ever line up with reality. They also get over these writers very, very fast. Like, take note of how few Marvel titles Swollen Bum actually writes nowadays. I think our on the Twitter machine, they're always on the verge of trying to cancel them too. I didn't know why, I didn't really care. But this is all just building up to the point where I say I hadn't liked anything by Swollen Bum, and then I read this series and this is really, really good. In fact, this is one of the 2 Defenders relaunches that I consider to be true quality. The other being the Joe Kelly one from 2007. Swollen Bum, he seems to honestly like the Defenders. There is an elephant in the room that 3 years after this, he finally got to write a Defenders ongoing, and it was nothing like this in terms of approach or quality. They are at opposite ends of the spectrum. Here you have a good comic, and at the other end, you have woke rubbish starring the same African-American woman that every flippin' book stars nowadays, and lesbians. I won't let that awful series get in the way of this. I won't even mention it again because it really shouldn't cloud this one up, which I would consider a must-read for any Defenders fans. This is set during Fear on Shelf. All you need to know about that event is that there are a bunch of other Forearmers and they have landed on Earth, and some of them have fallen into the hands of villains, such as our villain for this series, the Ocean Master. He was played wonderfully by James McAvoy in the films. Well, he has got his own hammer from Fairyland, and he is using it to wage war and assume the seat of royalty with the Seamen. So we kick off this issue with Seaman getting his arse handed to him by his powered-up arch-nemesis. Although, personally, I consider the sexy Marge Simpson's woman from SeaWorld Attacks to be Seaman's true arch-nemesis. Most other people instead just consider Orm to be. Really fun seeing an arsehole like Seaman get demolished like this, especially to start a book with this. We also have this girl, she is called Luau. She is a member of the Excellent Men with some vague sea-based mutant powers. She started hanging around with Seaman when he joined the Excellent Men, and they have a relationship like Wolfman and Julie Lee. Also, she is Hawaiian. Nice diverse character that Marvel swept under the rug because it's not really considered diverse enough if the character isn't also shit and unlikable. 2 days later, we are at a pub and Doctor Strange is there, and Seaman has called on him because he has been utterly defeated and humbled and he needs help in stopping Orm. Doctor Strange, he is also going through some stuff. He had lost a lot of his magical renown because of the time that he was written by Michael Bryan Benson. So we have these two hard friends bonding over their diminished statures. Luau, she is there as well. By the way, she's going to be a member of our Defenders team. I'm fine with that. I didn't really like mixing and matching teams, but this is a case where I think it strengthens her character. It gives her something that sets her apart from all the other young, muty, excellent men characters from this period, all the ones that are pretty much universally ignored by Marvel now. So Doctor Strange, he uses his magic to summon together some allies to forge a new Defenders team. And now we check in with Orm, or rather his evil council of evil seamen. We have got King Atlan, Illa, and King Shark. Fun fact, this is King Atlan's first appearance since 1991. He's actually a decent villain. He is really strong. He would fight the Avengers by himself. He actually beat them a few times. But he just kind of was forgotten about. Illa, she is a new character, never appeared before this, and maybe never appeared after this as well. And then King Shark, he is a classic baddie, one of my favourite go-to generic villains in the Marvel Universe. He's just one of them great baddies who we can throw against any hero, really. And they call upon the Trench. They are like the ancient race of carnivorous creatures that live under sea and they feast on things. They were in the films as well, played wonderfully by James McAvoy. So the three Defenders are just chilling in the pub, waiting for their allies to arrive, but they are about to be attacked by some of the Trench. It's okay though, because our first arrival has beaten them off panel before they even got inside the pub. And it is not the Hulk, and it is not She-Hulk's, it is Hulk daughter. She is our substitute for the Hulk on the team, and she works well. It's nice to give this character that role since she was difficult to fit into the Marvel Universe. She is a good character. She was created by Jeff Parkman and Milhouse Brettelweisers, who still hasn't refunded us for his comic that he is taking the piss with. And she has a few twists that make her worthwhile. I think she has been banished to comic book limbo. I didn't think she has been in a comic since, like, maybe this. A lot of people hate her because she was written atrociously by Jeff Nobles. But she does have some good ideas in her. Trust us on that. She is a warrior princess. She is the Hulk's daughter. And the calmer she gets, the stronger she gets. So now we have our four Defenders getting ready to fight the Trench. I'm going to read out this bit down here because I think this really hammers home a lot of what I feel about this being a good successor to the Defenders' legacy. Luau, she guns. So the bad guys have got an army of sea monsters. What have we got? A kid, a sea king who looks like he has went 10 rounds with Galactus Man. A magical has-been, and a junior She-Hulks. This should be fun. What are you smiling about? And Doctor Strange, he replies, nothing. This just reminds me of old times. I do really feel that Swollen Bum, he is a proper Defenders fan. You'll see some proper love for different takes on the team and various members in the 4th issue of this mini-series. And I even remember he had like a little essay piece at the back of the 1st issue of the awful ongoing that he eventually gets. And reading that, he really does seem to appreciate the Defenders and their history. So we get to see the Defenders, they're fighting the trench, and I do like this. In the past, I have moaned that the traditional Big Four Defenders lineup is pretty boring and very surface level. But here, I feel like they've introduced some changes that make it more appealing. We have Hulk Daughter instead of Hulk, and we have Luau, who I think might be a nod to the new Defenders by having a member of the Excellent Men on the team. These new additions, I think they breathe some life into the tired team dynamic of the Big Four. And here is a bit with Luau in action, since most people probably didn't know her that well. We see that she has like phasing powers. I'm not that sure of her exact powers beyond them being somehow linked to the sea, hence her becoming Seaman's little sidekick. Then Seaman, he rushes in the fight and he gets his arse kicked again, which is beautiful. More comics should just have him constantly getting beaten up. And then Hulk Daughter, she saves them. And then, just when they are about to be outnumbered by the trench, a 5th and final member arrives to change the tide. Pun intended, maybe, because it's all about the sea and that. It is the Silver Surfman in a big splash page, and it's also the ending of this 1st issue. There is the cover to issue number 2. We will be seeing a whole bunch of other Defenders in number 4. I've already shown in one video a bit of that when I was talking about how Moon Man is definitely not a member of the Defenders. Hulk Daughter and Luau, they are. The last issue of this has like a bunch of odd members and allies summoned, and that is great. This series in general, this is great stuff. If, like me, you have wound up with a big collection of Defenders back issues, even though your overall feelings towards them is that they are just alright, I definitely recommend this. But I don't recommend either the ongoing that came out after this, written by Maths Fractions, or the ongoing that came out after that one, which was written by Swollen Bum. They are bad. This is good. I rate it 7 thumbs up.